All right, everyone. So, trying to not have another meeting. We're going to do a Youth Truth training right now. So, woo, so excited. So, prior to the meeting, if you can, or training, video, whatever, if you could please print out your Youth Truth survey instructions and proctor script that I have attached and sent you, that would be awesome. And then you may want to have a highlighter or something else to write with. All right, so going ahead and getting started. Youth Truth. Real quick, all about it. Who's it for? It's in students in grades 3, 4, 5, and 6. And a goal is we want all of them to be able to take it or to take it. And then what is the Youth Truth? Well, the Youth Truth is an anonymous survey that gives students the ability to provide feedback, just how they're feeling about things at Westside. And there's different categories such as social emotional, relationships, engagement, and just different questions that cover the whole spectrum of their day at school and things they're experiencing. And it's just getting the student opinion, kind of how things are and what's happening here at Westside, at least in their eyes. So when the window is open now. However, ours is going to be starting on Monday, the 10th of January, and we're going to go till the 21st of January. It's trying to be the window that we have 100% of our students surveyed in, so that we have an extra week to make sure we catch any of those outliers, and we're doing things ahead of time. All right, and then where homeroom teachers, you guys are going to be the ones that are providing this to your students, and they're going to be taking it with you in their homeroom. Only exception would be 6th grade. If you guys have something worked out with your departmentalization and doing it in one room versus the other, that's okay. But however, everyone else is going to be doing it in their homeroom. All right, and then kind of why do we do this? Basically, research tells us a lot that the student perceptions and how they feel about their day and being at school, and if they like being here, just like us, if we like being at work, we do a better job. It directly links to the academic outcomes. So we are trying to get there a true understanding of how they feel about Westside, so that we can plan strategically in order to bring it in the direction that we want it to go and make it a better place for them, for them to be, and for them to, or just to understand all the positive things that they're getting from Westside as well. Okay, so how do we do this? Here's the part you care about. So first thing is, this is going to be done from a survey online. It's anonymous, and you can take it in English, Spanish, or Russian. Students get to actually pick which language they want to take it in. So please be very aware as you walk around and you're monitoring that they are choosing English, except for maybe a handful that need Spanish. We don't have any students needing Russian, and they don't need to think it's funny to pick the Russian one and try to take it. Next thing, we're going to be doing it in Google Chrome. We want to make sure we block out 45 minutes of time for the survey. 45 minutes, according to Youth Truth, should allot for the directions, troubleshooting, and the actual survey. They do have to take it during one setting, so it's very important that you kind of cushion maybe the front, like the back end. Like, you don't want it to be 45 minutes and then bam, it's 2:30, they have to go home. In case you have a couple stragglers, you want to be able to have some extra time if they need to finish, because if they do not finish in the setting, it does not count. Okay, so they have to finish it in one setting. So that's with your younger students and your students with accommodations or have an IEP that need more time. That's why you want to make sure that we're not running right to lunch, or not running right outside or something like that directly after. And again, big thing, one setting. So please don't forget that. Okay, so that was just kind of a basic of it. If you guys will grab your teacher survey and instructions in Proctor's script. So up at the top, you see setting up. It gives you the URL. That is the one that is unique to Westside. and it asks you to display a URL that everyone can see in your classroom. So you can just simply write it up on your board and the students will be able to type it in. Now you do also have the option if you want to get fancy and push it out through LAN school or a Google Classroom, you can write a link or something like that, and that would work as well for all the students to be able to access. Awesome, moving on. Proctor script, sorry, it's getting late. So I'm not going to read this to you. The Proctor script is not it has to be word for word. You can adjust it within reason to fit the needs of your classroom. One of the things that I would suggest, if you look through, make sure when it talks about, like submitting the answers, or at the end, you might want to add in a note, that I would have the students, like I said, raise their hand and say when they think they're finished, so that you can come over and hit submit together, and you can be, you know which students finished and which ones didn't. It's also going to be really important, make a little note that you are monitoring which students were there that day and actually took it, because if you, for whatever day you pick, if you had 4 students absent, you're going to be responsible for knowing which 4 those were and making sure they get on it. There's no way to know which students took it and which ones didn't, because it's anonymous. So that is going to be your responsibility. So star that you're going to need to make sure you keep track of who has done it and who has not. All right, so if you look at your please instruct your students, it says enter the URL in the web browser. If you're pushing it out a different way, you're going to have to change that in the script. There's the part about the English, Spanish, etc. And again, these completed in one setting, don't exit before you're finished. And again, if it was me and I was in my classroom, I would be having the students raise their hand. I would be coming over and ensuring that they finish before they submit. Okay, general administration, if you look down, unlimited time for every student. If they want to take 2.5 hours to finish it, they're going to get 2.5 hours to finish it. It definitely is not should not take 2.5 hours. So like I said, the 45 minutes, but if you have some that take a little bit longer, and just be aware of your schedule. And like I said, you can adjust your schedule that day within reason, and make sure you're not butting it up right to the dismissal or recess or lunch or something that's going to be the student has to leave. Students, again, like we said, absent of the day have to be able to make it when they return, not during recess, not during lunch, not during other breaks. Elementary students, that's us, we're going to do the Likert scale of 1 to 3. So it'd be really good to go ahead and practice this maybe ahead of time of, 1 disagree, 3 is agree, and what does it mean if I choose in the middle. Moving on to technical specifications. Sorry if I'm talking fast, I only have 15 minutes to record on this. So again, we're going to be viewing it on the school computer with Chrome. It works on a bunch of other stuff, but we're not worried about that. There is a speech to text, text to speech, functionality on there, and the students can click, and there's a little like speaker button next to anything that has written text, and it will read it to them. So you're going to want to make sure you have headphones prepared, as well as or quiet area if they don't have that. Also, if you have students that struggle with reading or could use some extra text to speech, please encourage them to use that buy-in, and so we can get the best results that we're able to. Proctor notes. So when you are proctoring and you're kind of walking around, make sure that the students are providing, their own answers. They're not like, hey, what'd you pick on this? Like, what'd you pick for number 3? Like, disagree. We don't want that. That'll skew our data. And then if they also do display this language, it says, if any of the questions make you feel sad or scared about anything, please talk to your teacher or a grown-up you trust. So you're going to be putting that out there, because some of them talk about bullying, or, if they feel they have friends or don't have friends, and that can bring up some feelings, etc., and about feeling safe at school. So just, that is the language. So if any kids come and talk to you or need someone to talk to, Ms. Watson or myself or Ms. Woodbury are available for that. Your surveying environment, ensure surveying spaces are free from noise and distractions. Set it up like you're going to do testing, or you're doing something important in your room where students need a quiet, as least distractive as possible environment. And you all know how to do that for your classroom. Says consider allowing them to wear headphones to remove distractions. Always a good idea, especially if they're using that speech to text, text to speech, which a lot of them should be, especially our third graders. And then as students complete the survey, again, make sure they have something else that they can do without distracting the other ones. And again, I wouldn't make it too exciting so that they're trying to run to it. Surveying students with disabilities, just going down the list here. They should still participate with their standard accommodations. Your text-to-speech is there for your verbatim. Everyone's getting the extended time. If you have a kid that needs breaks and things during it, please provide them those. If there is a student that you think this is going to take an arm and a leg for them to be able to complete, please let me know, and we'll have a discussion if this is not a battle that we want to take with them, and if it's not going to be helpful and we're not going to get valid data. But that'll be on one-on-one basis of us having a discussion. So please let me know if you have any students that fall in that category. Okay, so basically that is the overview of the Youth Truth Survey and kind of how to proctor it and how to do it. So next steps is you're going to choose a date and a time that you know that you are going to have the computers for 45 minutes. Minimum. Remember, don't push it right up to the end of the day or anything like that. And we want it between the dates of the 10th and the 21st. Okay, guys, use your judgment. If you pick, I'm going to do this on the 10th at 12 o'clock, and your class all gets in trouble, and they just got and everyone's grumpy butts, then it's probably not the best time to take the survey directly after. Okay, we want an accurate read of what it is like and how the students feel on a general day in your room, not after getting in trouble. We want accurate data. Use your best judgment, and I would rather have better data than you worried about you doing it exactly on the date and time that you had submitted to me. So if you just pick a date and a time, and if you could create an Outlook event and send that to me, that would be great. If you know how to do inviting attendees, just add me in there and put your date and time. And I'm going to use that to be able to check our dashboard and see who's completing what as needed. And then the next piece that you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure that you want to familiarize both yourself and your students with the actual questions, and not to guide them in a direction of what you want them to answer, or what you think they should answer, but that they just understand what the actual question is asking, and they're able to provide their true feelings and their opinion on it, and it's not skewing it because they are interpreting the meaning of the question differently than it's intended. So Mrs. Wallace is wonderfully making us a student-friendly version. Last time she did it kind of in a PowerPoint presentation to be able to kind of put the questions up and have a class discussion prior to actually taking the survey. And then you're also going to really want to make sure that you talk to the students about the survey, why we do it, the importance. They are helping to build what Westside is becoming. If they have siblings, they have everyone, they're leaving their legacy kind of thing. Make sure, like we said before, that you review the Likert scale with them. You don't want to get in there and then have to review with all of them what that looks like. So you can do some different examples of the scale. When you see the questions, a lot of times there'll be some that, if it says 1 through 5, that is how they do it for the high schools and things like that. So ours is just a 1 through 3 with the agree or disagree. But they'll have some other things like never relax, sometimes relaxed all the time. So just different kind of Likert scale questions. And then that should say number 4, make sure you review the survey instructions. Again, the ones that we just went over and you had highlighted, etc. The script, make it your own, make it fit your class, but don't lose track of what you still need the important information to get out for the students. And then ensure your link works prior to starting. And then last and least, make sure, use your best judgment, do it at a good time, get some good data, and let me know if you have any questions.